Well, hello there, Tommy. How you doing, bud?
Good morning, Craig. How are you? Good. I'm well.
I'm I'm fantastic, man. Feeling all right today. Nice day here in Rio Rico. A little misty rain this morning, but pretty nice. How goes it your way?
I'm watching kind of some of the clips, and West Texas has got some of them 60, 70, 80 mile an hour days. I don't miss those.
Yeah, I bet you don't. I bet you don't. So, but it's been God a couple of months. I think right after Thanksgiving was the last time we did this. This is episode 3 of the Tommy Journey. So it's been a minute. So we got a lot of catching up to do.
Good to talk to you today.
Yeah, I know you too as well. And we just bounced off of a CEC call. I think that was a pretty good call. What about you?
I agree. I love to see the excitement across the board, to see the journeys, the struggles between each other. And yeah, I think that's one of the things that's cool when you do a group atmosphere is that you get different perspectives, and it's good for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, that group and everybody, just talking about the different stuff that they're doing or what they've done and that kind of thing. You don't y- you think about some of the stuff that you personally are doing or what you're looking at, but it's always interesting to maybe pick up new ideas, right? Some things that
Absolutely.
maybe you hadn't thought about or what's working for everybody else. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, great endeavor, great cause, and all that stuff for sure. All right, so let's kind of take a look back. So we started this thing out, established some goals. We originally talked about, or at least what I'd say is like, for me, it's really about not the next 4 or 5 months. It's really not this. It's like, can we change for you or for anybody, change the trajectory for 20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, right? And you talked about wanting to be able to measure stuff, and I think that's huge. You need to be able to measure it, and you'd listed off, I believe, and it's still, if I understand correctly, still the three main focuses, and these are really just kind of so you can see if what you're doing is working, right? But is weight, flexibility, and triglycerides, is that the three that you're targeting?
We had a physical last week, and AC1, triglycerides, cholesterol, everything that was a problem is now in line. Doctor was
Very nice.
ecstatic that there's nothing out of the norm.
Yeah.
Um, and so, there's not many times in my 65 years that a doctor said, wow. So that was kind of cool. But you're feeling good.
But I don't want to go. I want to stick with that, right? So triglycerides. I think what 250, 225, 250 was that your number you were kind of at, and you said you'd had a little movement, but
Well,
have you seen much? Where have
I'm
you been?
trying to remember, and I don't want to quote that line, but it seems like 150 is kind of the trigger to be in trouble.
Yeah, and so if you're in line,
So I'm under
you're
150.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a 30 some odd percent reduction in a handful of months.
Yeah, the AC1 was bumping a concern, and it's
Mhm.
not anymore.
Hell yeah, that's
Cholesterol's in
great.
line, blood pressure is perfect. I still take a little bit of blood pressure medicine and some cholesterol medicine, but he all of the red flags have been muted for the moment, and
And that's what now, what about and like your cholesterol and stuff, are you using statins at all or
I am, and he said that he believes in statins and don't know that I'll ever come off of them completely.
gotcha.
Um, I've reduced my blood pressure medicine by 50%. He said he'll watch and see how the next few months go. I don't know whether I'm at a point where I listen to the doctors. He's got key targets. He knows what we're doing, and he says, if we can continue doing what we're doing, it's just incredible. So, you know, uh, I think we're at a point where the body has drastically changed. None of my clothes fit. Uh, the
So
skin don't e
you've had some weight loss then?
40 pounds,
40 pounds, and that was on what'd you start at?
263.
So do the math on that, but real quick
Oh, I'm
maths.
241, 242 this week. I mean,
Yeah, so
221, 222 this week.
about 10 to 15% more or less.
I haven't done that math, but,
Yeah, I haven't done it, but that's still, I mean, 30% on your tries, 10 to 15% on the freaking weight. And then the other thing you were working on was your stretching, your flexibility. I think you've got a regiment that you're working with a trainer. Is that correct?
and John has given me some resistant training, not only do the clothes don't fit, but your skin don't fit anymore.
Yeah,
So, when you lose weight as rapidly as I have, the body will catch up, I guess, at some point. So we're really working on resistance training to maybe add some muscle into there a little bit. So he's given me some key things. I think the key word for me today is finish. We talked about in the group the last hour, that we're 60 days away from the show, which is somewhat of a finish line for this chapter. And it's been phenomenal, but I think the key is finish. I've set a stretch goal of 199. I think it's obtainable. I I uh, I think that the key now is just to really work on the core, the stretching, and the resistance training. And John has got me looking at, we eliminated some of the things we were eating, like stir fries, some teriyaki and stuff. And we're really looking at more natural options and as much processed options, and maybe how we make homemade stuff to where it's cleaner and pure, and maybe, enjoying some of the things I eliminated. But, I'm eating gluten-free pasta, but, you go to a teriyaki or something and it's got 400 ingredients in it, and you're just trying to get as much processed out of everything, but enjoy some of it. And really don't miss some of that. But I think as you move down the line and you maintain something, there's some of this you enjoy, and you figure out cleaner options of enjoying what you're doing.
yeah, no, 100%. And curious. So you've got. So what are the top one or two things that you've changed? Whether it's gluten or what. In other words, what do you feel like has been the biggest impact that you've changed of the
Well,
two or three
I followed
top
your
things?
lead on. I'm not to one meal a day, but I'm to a protein shake for lunch and then a meal.
Okay.
Uh, it's a 30-gram, no sugar, protein drink for lunch,
Yep.
and then I try to eat a 1,400 calorie. I'm not shooting for a necessarily but just vegetables and some protein, and trying to eat before 6. Uh, and then I think that probably, and I'm just not as hungry anymore. I don't. I'm not hungry. I'm not urging anything. I mean, I was in the airport last week and some M&Ms sure looked good, but instead I went for a walk around the terminal, and we're in a season where every time I walk out of a store, there's a Girl Scout with Thin Mints. And yeah, I sold so much stuff in my life. I hate to tell a kid no, but just dodging some of those demons out there, I think is crucial. And I think just smarter choices and lesser choices has been, following your lead a little bit. And I think there's days that I'm intermittent fasting and not necessarily on a plan, but you just choose to. And you know, it's amazing to me how much water intake can, you know, kind of make you feel full.
Yeah.
Uh, so, you
Well,
know,
I'm just going to jump in on, the things that I'm picking up. So for me, because I know it's what I recognize and listening to you talk, right? The M&M choice or the fact that the protein, believe me, I mean, that's basically, that protein shake. And then once a day, you've dialed back how many decisions you got to make for sure down to one, but that's absolutely restricting your caloric intake. But bigger than that, and this is what I was kind of going to get to is it's the mental process, right? Because in order to discipline yourself to have a protein shake and then eat before 6 on a regular basis, that requires a mental control, right? And mental discipline to say, look, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how this goes. And once you kind of get your training, that's where, you get to the airport and believe me, I'm like you, I know what that's like, man. I mean, it's like, boy, that looks great. But it's the ability to say, I'm in control of the mind. The mind's not in control of me. And I think that by itself to me is a huge deal. If you can ever start to realize you're controlling what's going on, not the mind is controlling what's going on.
so if you think back to the first time we did this a few years ago, you know, I did really well, but I don't think I finished. Okay. I
Okay.
think I was like patting myself on the back that we done something and you just kind of settle. And I think this time I'm hungry to finish. I don't necessarily have numbers or, you know, 199 would be satisfying, but I'm not necessarily fixated on that. You can feel your body adapting to the changes in movement and lower intake and smarter intake and just building on that a little bit. But, you know, we got 60 days and I feel incredibly different than we did 60 days back. And I'm interested to see what that finish line will look like if we maintain what we're doing for the rest of my life, even.
Well, so I will, go back to our original conversation and when we talked about it. So having that, for me, it's like that finish line, Tommy, for me, is when they put me 6 feet under or 8 feet, however far down they put, right? So for me, it's like, and that's where I was going to go is like, the finish line is really not 60 days from now. All right. I mean, that is for this particular thing that we're working on and the numbers you set. But realistically, do you feel like that, um, finishing do you feel like you're sustainable, right? Are you getting enough out of this that once you hit it, you're gonna be like, made it. Now I go back, or do you feel like, look, I'm changing enough to where my finish line is, like I say, way down the road somewhere, and I can sustain this because I like it.
Yeah, I do. And, you know, we were blessed over Christmas to find out we have another granddaughter coming. And
Awesome, congrats.
that's one of the, you know, you think that, wow, you know, what are she and I going to be doing in 20 years?
Yeah,
And can I do it? And so, you know, all those just, you know, solidify that we've made a choice for 20 years or so that whatever you were given, to be better in that time we have. And, it's amazing the better I feel and, you know, it improves every day. You know, you just feel a little bit better the more you do. The less you eat, you know, I think we've done this smart enough now for a period of time that, you know, we kinda cooked some steak and vegetables for Valentine's Day, stayed home, and I was just shocked at how little I really wanted or needed, you know?
yeah,
I didn't want to get that feeling, but, you know, I think when when there's an opportunity to eat what I used to eat and you don't do it, it's somewhat of a choice, but it's your body's telling you not to do that anymore. You don't want to do that. So it's really cool. And so Barbara, my wife, eats salads without dressing, and I haven't got to a point where that's real satisfying. So John's worked with me on, getting more pure, like we make our own honey mustard, and how you can do that healthier, and using some cottage cheese and yogurt, with a little bit of stuff. And so all of this is, you find things that work better and things that don't work, but the calorie intake is diminished. The amount of food that I'm putting into my body has diminished, and I think my body's about figured out we don't have to have it. And then when you do happen to eat something that you shouldn't, it don't feel good,
Yeah.
and that's a neat feeling.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, when we started at 263, the first time we did this chat, Craig, when we were starting Viva and this thought, I was way above 263. So, it's just amazing. The second leg has been far more successful, but I'm really kind of interested to see what this looks like, at the finish line of this chapter at Viva Fresh in April.
Yeah, me too, Tommy. And I'm super thrilled that, yeah, it's going as well as it is. And I'm glad, as much as anything, you feel good, right? It sounds
Yeah.
like, and that's huge no matter what age you're at, right? You know, getting
Well,
that opportunity to feel good in the moment where you're at is huge.
and I think the next feel good moment's going to be if you finish.
Yeah.
If you get to 60 days down the road, you see where you are, what's changed, but you can then carry that on for the rest of your life. That will be huge.
Indeed. So I got a question. Have you booked a flight to go and ride bikes with Barbara in Europe?
Craig, you and I have worked a long time in this business, and there's been very few times that I have taken 10 or 12 days off. And I've been very honest with Barb. If I take 10 or 12 days off, I'm not going to go sit on a bicycle. Uh,
Well, but you know what? That's a better comment than when we first talked about it,
right.
because when we first talked about it, you're like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But that comment you made there is, it's not a question if I couldn't do it. I don't want to do it.
I
And
don't
so
want to
I,
do
I, I get that
I,
100%, but that's a
I
way
don't.
better way to look at it.
Yeah. But my daughter had a little scope donut on her knee last week, and I went back to Lubbock and kind of took care of the 6-year-old grandson for 4 days. And I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm in better shape than I was, because I was drained. I mean, God bless these young parents. But it just, the fact that I could help out. Barb didn't get to take off as long as I did, and then you hear another one's coming. It just solidifies that we need to get healthier. And you get little wake up calls. I've had, I think, 3 acquaintances in the industry that knew pretty well that are not here
Yeah.
in the past 60 days, that are way too close to our age. And it just reminds you that time is a gift, and you should take care of it.
Time in life is a gift, brother. And
It is.
yeah, we take it for granted. And
We do. And,
so
the way you choose your days are very important. And so I'm appreciative to John, to you, to Viva for Cleaning Challenge to show me a different path.
well, and I said this before. I mean, for all the folks that are competing in this, but especially you, Tommy, because like I said, it's yeah, and this is it's good for you. You're feeling good. You're seeing progress, but the impact that I believe your journey, your success will have on people that you will never know, right, is potentially I mean, huge. Again, and that's for me what I really respect all of you folks that are willing to come in and talk, take this challenge, put yourself out there because, like I say, it's not only about the benefit of you, but it's the fact that somebody will potentially see the story, see the journey, get on their own journey, and change their life because of Tommy, and that's huge.
Right. And it don't matter what chapter you're in. You look around the group, and I'm obviously the elder statesman of this, but it's never too late to make a
No,
change. And
no.
maybe more important for us at this point to make that change. So if I can inspire one person that's never too late to make a difference, that would be huge.
Yeah. 100%, brother, 100%. So, well, look, man, I think that's an excellent update, and certainly I expect some people out there will get a chance to see this and be encouraged by your update for sure, and keep the progress going. Just like I say, it's the fact that you feel like you can sustain it. I think that's huge as well because that's really going to pay the big dividends.
I appreciate your direction.
Indeed, sir. Well, that's all I got, man. I will let you get back to, I know, lots of fresh produce activities, I'm sure, that are pressing. You have two back-to-back calls, taking 2 hours out of your life. Is not easy, but definitely enjoy the time with you, Tommy. And like I say, give me a shout if you need anything.
All right. Thank you.
All right, take care, bud. We'll see
Take
you.
care.